Hello, welcome back to the another part of the video series. In this video series, as I have already told you, we are discussing about the vertebrate. In the previous video, we have discussed about the lower vertebrate or lower chordata, that is the protochordata. In this part of the video, we will be discussing about the higher chordata, or you can say the higher chordata part, that is the urochordata. So let's begin. For a quick recap, again I am going to revise the same chart because this chart is very clear perspective about how the division has been taken place. So if you remember that the chordata was broadly divided into two categories, that is the protochordata, that is the lower chordata, and the higher chordata, that is the urochordata. The protochordata, which we have already discussed in our last class, that is the hemichordata, urochordata and cephalochordata. In this part, we will be discussing about the vertebrata, that is mainly the Agnatha. Okay. So, a vertebrata is again divided into two parts, that is Agnatha and Gnathostomata, and Gnathostomata is further divided into the Pisces and Tetrapoda. But in this video, we will be only focusing about the Agnatha in detail. In the next part, we will be discussing about Gnathostomata. So, let us begin with Agnatha. So, if you have seen that the urochordata is divided into two broad categories, that is the Agnatha and Gnathostomata. You must be wondering what is Agnatha and what is Gnathostomata. So, Agnatha are those urochordate which do not have the true jaws, and the paired appendages is also absent, and notochord is only persistent in adult. In Agnatha, what are the features we will be discussing in the later part. And what is Gnathostomata? Gnathostomata are the true jaws present, that is Pisces, fishes, tetrapods, that is the amphibian, and the reptiles and the mammals. These all belongs to the Gnathostomata category. If you see this chart, we will be better clear with it. So that's why I am again and again putting this chart, so that you will be clear with this idea that what all the categories belong. If you see Gnathostomata, they are again divided into Pisces and Tetrapoda. In Pisces are the chondrichid, ostrichid, which are the fishes category. Tetrapoda are the amphibia, reptilia, aves and mammalia. So Gnathostomata are the jawed vertebrate. To be very precise or for easy understanding, you can say those urochordate which have jaws are known as Gnathostomata, and those which do not have jaws is known as the Agnatha. And the Gnathostomata also has the appendages, that is the pectoral and the pelvic girdle, as well as the notochord is may be persistent, or the notochord will be replaced by the vertebral column. Okay. This is all about the major characteristics or major difference between the Agnatha and the Gnathostomata. Moving to the Agnatha, Agnatha is again divided into two categories, that is ostracodermy and cyclostomata. You have known that what are Agnatha and what are the characteristics. Now we will be discussing about the classification of Agnatha. So Agnatha is divided into ostracodermy. These are the ostracoderms which are already extinct, and they were the heavy armor, means their body was heavy and heavy exoskeleton were present in their outer shell, and they were mainly seen during the Paleozoic era. And one more interesting feature is that they are known as the world's first vertebrate. This is important to be noted down. Example is Cephalaxis. These are the ostracodermy which is no longer found. Moving to the cyclostomata. Why these are called cyclostomata? Because cyclostomata are the cyclo means circular, stomata means mouth. So those Agnatha which have circular mouth in them, as you can see here, they are having the circular mouth in them, suctorial sucker like mouth. That's why they are belong to the cyclostomata category. And the body is eel shaped. You can see the body is eel shaped and without any scales. And examples is these lamprey and hagfish. Okay. In cyclostomata, as the ostracodermy is already extinct, so no more further classification of ostracodermy is seen, and cyclostomata, these are further classified into two classes which we will be discussing. First we will discuss about the general characteristics of the cyclostomata. So you can see that the body is elongated and eel-like. You can see both in the both the pictures, and they have the dicyclical tail. What do you mean by dicyclical tail? That is, the tails, the end of the tail, one will be larger, another one will be shorter. They are known as the dicyclical scale. And the skin is smooth. You can see the skin is smooth and eel-like and slippery type. The skin is usually slippery type. And the body is divided into several myotims, which are known as from the tail and the trunk segment. You can see many segments will be seen here. These are known as the myotims. And the endoskeleton, that is the inner skeleton, is fibrous in nature, and the notochord it persists throughout the life. Jaws absent as they belong to the Agnatha group. So, jaws will be absent, and you can see here these are the suctorial, sucking like mouth will be present in the anterior region. So, the mouth or the buccal cavity contains the circular mouth, and they have mesonephric kidney, and one single median fin will be present. You can see this is the single median fin. Here also single median fin will be present, and the development includes the prolonged larval phase. Okay, and the development mainly indirect type of development is seen. So, larval stage will be seen in the cyclostomata. Moving to the classification of the or the cyclostomata, these are divided into two classes, that is petromyxinoforms, which this members belongs to the Lamprey. So, all the Lamprey category, that is the Petromyxon, Lampreta, etc. belong to this category. So, this is the example of Lamprey or Petromyxon. You can see here they have the suctorial mouth in the buccal funnel and two semicircular canal for the hearing purpose. Eyes are also present, and nostril is in the top of the head. Dorsal fin, that is the backside, a dorsal fin and caudal fin will be present, and you can see here that is the 7 pairs of external gill will be present for the respiration purpose. And some interesting features regarding that, these they have the eggs are numerous and small, and they show indirect development, and they usually live both in the marine as well as in the fresh water. Then myxinoforms, in this myxinoforms they belong to the hagfish. All the hagfishes belong to this category, and the mouth is terminal. But one interesting features about this difference between these two is that the buccal funnel will be present in case of lamprey, but myxine do not have any buccal funnel. Sensory, instead that sensory tentacles will be present. Here the head region and a vestigial eye will be present. What is the function of vestigial eye? Because they usually lives in the ground region. Okay, that's in the soil, in the marine they will be present inside the soil. That's why. So, there is no use of eye. So, vestigial eye will be present. Tail, caudal fin, anus as well as median fin, and one single external gill cells will be present. And the gill pouches will be 16 to 15 pair, and eggs are usually few eggs but large eggs. In here eggs were numerous but small in size. Here eggs were very few but large in size, and they show direct development. Example is myxine. You can see this is the myxine, paramyxine, etc. So, this is the major difference between the Petromyxon, that is lamprey, and the hagfish. So, this is all about the Cyclostomata or the class Agnatha in detail. In the next part of the video, we will be discussing about the Gnathostomata, that is Gnathostomata are the two types again. So, we will be discussing in this first part, we will be discussing about the Pisces, and in the second part we will be discussing in Tetrapodo, and each part will be in the subdivision we will be discussing. So, this is all about the video. If you have not watched the first part of the vertebrate series, do watch it for the better understanding what is chordate, what is non-chordate, what are the difference. And invertebrate series also have made physiology, evolutionary biology, all the series are there in my channel. Do watch it, like, subscribe and share among your friends. And that's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.